Good afternoon, welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. This afternoon, it has been reported this afternoon that we have a new manager. Yes, we do have a new manager, and that manager will be Mr. Martin O'Neill. Mr. Martin O'Neill will be the new Celtic manager. He was the one that a lot of Celtic fans wanted to be the manager, to be fair. It'll be interesting to find out. We'll never find out, do you know? It was a season like no other. Martin O'Neill came in and helped Celtic through the most traumatic season ever as a football club. It'll be interesting to find out. Yeah, it was one of the most traumatic seasons ever. Martin O'Neill came in when Brendan Rodgers left the club. He steadied the ship. Wilfred Nancy came in. That was a disastrous spell for Celtic. And then he had to come back to Celtic when Wilfred Nancy had left the club. Now, there is no official statement as yet. I do expect the official statement to come out in the next 35 minutes. Stephen McGowan of the Herald released the info. He spilt the beans. Martin O'Neill has agreed to become the next Celtic's next manager on a permanent basis following talks with Dermot Desmond in London. The 74-year-old will sign a one-year contract with the option of a further year, and that's the exclusive from the Herald. It's got to be said, he is a reporter that does have his ear to the ground when it comes to these things. He does report these things on an ongoing basis. Let me just shut this down. Why did we get an error there? So yeah, that is it. Martin O'Neill is the manager for next season. Martin O'Neill, who was down in Leicester just a couple of nights ago, who is in Kirkcaldy next weekend, speaking to supporters, and then he's in Galashiels the next night speaking to supporters. These were all events that were set up before he obviously thought he was going to be Celtic manager again, wasn't it? I mean, these were events that would set up, and he thought he was wandering off into the distant, and he thought, I'll just milk it and get some more cash in before I head into my retirement at 75 years old. Tell me what you think about Martin O'Neill. It's obviously the best news for us as Celtic fans. I think that the damage that the whole, the infighting, the damage, everything that goes along with the Robbie Keane scenario, it looks like Dermot Desmond has spoken to Robbie Keane. We can only surmise that Robbie Keane's went, I'm not too sure if this is really worth it. If you're sitting at home and your missus is going on to social media, and is it really worth it? Could it be the case that he's then went to Martin O'Neill and said, look, Martin, you're just going to take the job for a year. We'll give it a year. There's an option of a further year contract if you really want it. Is it a great thing for the club? I would have preferred the younger manager. I think everyone knows that. I would have really preferred the younger manager. But Martin O'Neill, the benefit of bringing in Martin O'Neill as manager is he will give youth a chance. What does it say for Mikael Ange Balikwisha? There will be Celtic players. the big Bruce. Balikwisha and Hatate must be delighted. It is one of the most intriguing summers when it comes to being a Celtic football fan. When you look at the rebuild that the club will have to do, it's a massive undertaking, and it has to be a manager that gets Celtic, that gets the ethos of Celtic. Martin O'Neill is definitely that man. Martin O'Neill will be a manager that will change the formation. I expect Celtic to go to a 3-5-2 formation next season. Will he retain Fozzie? Will he retain Maloney? Because Maloney said that he's only going to stick around for 2 years. That would give Maloney the 2 years. It's an interesting time. It's fantastic news. Some of the comments coming in on the Herald Post are as follows. Love Martin O'Neill, always will, but this is our lazy board just kicking a can down the road for another year. Bring in Robbie Keane. He's the man to take the club to the next level, says a Rangers fan. The old kid on at Robbie Keane, so the doubters are fine with Martin O'Neill. Classic Dermot Desmond. However, with Celtic managers linked, Martin O'Neill was the best option, so back him, Celtic. He does go to, and he does say the F word in his comment. Back the manager, sack the board. Lazy management by the board, knowing we won't turn on Martin O'Neill. Even with Martin O'Neill announced, well, not officially announced as yet, it's usually around about 5:30, 6 o'clock that Celtic do their announcements. Back of 6 is usually the norm, isn't it? But a reporter of his esteem would not put out false information if he did not think it was correct. Let's just see if Sky are reporting it, because Sky Scotland are usually quick off the mark also. No, nothing. It is just Steve McCown from the Herald Group, and I'll just let you just see that again. Martin O'Neill has agreed to become Celtic's manager on a permanent basis following talks with Dermot Desmond in London. The 74-year-old will sign a 1-year contract with the option of a further year. Exclusive. Tenor on the Europa League now, defo. Celtic will go into the Champions League in the summer. Get Bruni involved. He'd flourish under Martin O'Neill. Could be a good shout. Scott Brown is in Portugal at the moment on holiday, as his Instagram tells us. Love Martin O'Neill. Don't think he should be doing this rebuild, to be honest. Interesting that Sean thinks that. The board's hiding behind Martin O'Neill for another season. Great news. Let's hope that the board can back him. Get a tenner on the Europa League now. Defo. Does that mean that you're willing to drop out of the Champions League again? The finances of the club would suggest that Celtic need to stay in the Champions League to retain that 145 million bracket of income level. I do expect the income level to fall dramatically in the next set of accounts from Celtic. You've got to remember that they're not another penny campaign that's been going on. Does that continue? What does that say to the Celtic fans? Do the Celtic fans continue the not another penny campaign now that Martin O'Neill is the manager for another season? Martin O'Neill's parting shot to the Celtic fans before the season came to a close was, if you were one of the fans who threw the balls onto the pitch, come and have a word with me. Martin O'Neill will not take lightly to fan demonstrations. Martin O'Neill will not take lightly to more nonsense at AGMs. Martin O'Neill won't take lightly to ultras thinking that they can have a say more than him. It's going to be interesting. It is good news. Robertson's going to Spurs. Yeah, knew that. We knew that days ago. Best decision under the circumstances. Baz Martin can rebuild the squad 100%. But are you just rebuilding the squad for a 1-year period to try and give Martin some success? And what do we see as success? Is success retaining the league in the Scottish SPFL? Is success doing better in Europe? Martin O'Neill will definitely want to do better in Europe, considering the results that he managed to ascertain with the club in Europe last season. Yeah, didn't he? Fair play to Nicholson. I thought he was going to force Robbie Keane in the door. I don't think it was anything to do to Nicholson. This is all down to... I think that the stories, once it starts coming out about, I think that Robbie Keane will have decided, it's confirmed by Sky. Has it been confirmed by Sky? Let me just do this. It's on Sky TV. It's not on the land of Twitterati as yet. Sky Sports News just talking about this report says Stevie, perfect. Just confirmed by Sky. Well, at least we get on before the mainstream media. That's the main thing. Get in there. Nothing like getting it on the beating the mainstream media to it. That's 1-0 to us. A lot of people saying it has been confirmed by Sky. Fair play. It's fantastic news. We can all settle down now. The infighting can stop. The name calling can stop. We can all direct our attention to the board once again. Tell me in the comments, doing important in Europe is better. Just been on Sky News. Yes, just been on Sky News. Just been on Sky News. Martin, year by year roll over. That was a contract that Martin O'Neill had in his first time round, a rolling contract. It was only when Brendan Rodgers came to the club that the rolling contract was really put to bed. It was a contract situation that Celtic used to good. Yeah, you could say they used it quite well over the years, kept managers on their edge, and it allowed managers to leave the club or Celtic to get rid of them without paying out a massive compensation fee for sacking the manager. This is the best decision. Was never in doubt. This is how the board operates. They always take the easy option. Sorry, when the news broke, I was in a bar eating tapas and having a beer. Back the man, back the man. Lads, we aren't winning the Europa League. Yeah. Martin O'Neill and Dermot Desmond had a meeting in London last night. That is the news that broke. Superb news. 57 is incoming. Paul, what did you miss? Martin O'Neill is the manager. He is the new manager for Celtic. It hasn't been announced by Celtic as yet, but has been released by media sources such as Sky after us. And it was released by the Herald Group newspapers first of all. Friday afternoon, Dermot must have felt the pressure from fans. I don't think it was necessarily Dermot. I mean, I think that if you're Robbie Keane and you're looking at the backlash, you're bound to be saying to yourself, is this really worth it? Pineapple juice. Fantastic. Is it really worth the hassle? Great news, at least we're talking about football rather than the Middle East. That's not going to go away. Sun reporting Dermot Desmond backed away from talks with Keane after the backlash, says the Sun. Yet he had the talks with Robbie Keane earlier on. No, it's okay. It's fine. Well, we were just going out for the one drink, just to sort of we pat on the back to each other for having a successful week work-wise. And then we're having a barbecue, and I've already lit the barbecue. It's fine, and it's the barbecue has lit, and it is olive tree wood that we're using. We couldn't get any lemon tree wood, so it's olive tree wood that we're using for the barbecue, which is sustainable wood. Before you tree huggers start complaining about wood, olive tree wood in Spain is generally sustainable. It's great that Martin O'Neill is staying. I hope Martin can persuade Maeda to stay for one more season. Is that really possible? I doubt it, and I doubt it, but you never know. Work starts now, get quality in the door, player-wise. Well, Martin O'Neill does have a few weeks before the transfer window opens, but he also has fan events. He is in Kirkcaldy next week on the Friday night, I believe, and then he's in Galashiels. He does a little bit of travelling for an old dude, isn't he? He's, don't know, he's coining it in, and then he's now getting paid by Celtic again. I wonder when he will be announced officially by the club. Come on, Celtic, do it right live on air. If not, we might do it later. But it has been reported by all the mainstream media. Let's just do a quick update on this. Martin O'Neill to become the next Celtic manager after Desmond Dermot talks. So it's great news. Robbie Keane, Celtic talks collapse, says Celts are here. Well, that's it. There's nothing left to say. We'll just cut it short. It's fantastic news, and I know that we will all back Martin O'Neill, and it's probably one of the biggest decisions that the Dermot Desmond has to make. You know, maybe the fact that Robbie Keane says, "Can I think about it over the weekend?" Dermot Desmond doesn't like that kind of attitude. Dermot Desmond likes people that just go, "Just give me a straight answer." And Martin O'Neill has went, "Yeah, I'll do it for another year." Option of a year if I feel up to it. But now Martin's going to have to move up to Glasgow. He's going to have to move his missus up to Glasgow. You know, they're going to have to rent a house or an apartment somewhere, probably a house. And you've got to feel for his missus. She's in retirement mode. She's got her things. She's got the Women's Institute or whatever they do down in England. You know, she's got all these things that they do on a weekly basis. Now she's going to have to up sticks and kick about Glasgow for a year. Don't envy her. Kidding. There are a Japanese reporter who tweets about Japanese guys and is usually spot on and says Maeda may and would reconsider if Martin O'Neill stays. Seriously, God, you can't make it up. Is this going to be one of the bigger? God Almighty! If he signs another deal at Celtic, it would be unbelievable. Breaking news: Danny Rowe and Derek McInnes have resigned from their jobs as they have found out that Martin O'Neill is staying at Celtic. Oh, the banter years. May the banter years continue. Anyway, the main headlines of this afternoon is the fact that Martin O'Neill is staying on as manager. Chris says it right. Martin O'Neill, Celtic manager for a fourth time. What a relief! What a relief! It is that. It was getting. I've got to be honest. The last couple of days have been horrendous from a media point. You know, the negativity is, you know, did I get to 27,000 subscribers is the big bone of contention. Let me go on and check. No, I didn't. We didn't hit the 27,000, so I feel disappointed. Well, it's one of those situations. You kind of feel happy. We're at 26,928. 26,928. Let me just do this, and I'll get it on the screen. I wanted to outdo Celtic, and I did want to get to 29,000. What's just happened there? We have just. I've totally cocked up that screen, haven't I? Can't get that to move. I've totally cocked that up. Let me just go into this. Let's see the studio. Quit. Nope. See, you're making me do things live on air. Quit that. Hopefully it quits the right screen. No, it quit them all. See, this is what happens. Technology, live TV, as they say. Let me get the. Let's put this on this screen and studio. Oh, we're at 26,930. Come on, Martin O'Neill's the new manager. Get us to that 27,000 subscribers. 26,931. Right, where is this? There we go. We're at 26,931. Come on, get us to 27,000. Celebrate the fact that Celtic have got Martin O'Neill in as manager. Stayed in Edinburgh last night. Baz. He managed us. He stayed in Edinburgh the last time I managed. Did he? He stayed in a hotel in Edinburgh and then Travel Roos. No news on the backroom staff yet. Nope, no news as yet. And somebody's just unsubscribed. That always happens, doesn't it? Always happens. Anyway, I need to just close this down a second because I need to. Somebody's playing games. Let me move this screen over here. You can tell I'm not a TV editor, can't you? And then we'll get that back on there. Come on, that's it. Let's see if we can get to 27,000 today. It's a lame metric, but it should be. Rejoice. We shall rejoice. We shall rejoice. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of people that will get, as they say in Scotland, mad with it tonight. Are you getting mad with it tonight? Because Martin O'Neill is the next Celtic manager. Has been confirmed by Sky News. I am just going to jump on the landed Twitter to see if they have it on Twitter as yet, so we can get the report, because I know that you'd like to have it really confirmed. Breaking news, here we go.
Now, we understand that Martin O'Neill has agreed terms on a one-year deal to become the permanent manager of Celtic. The 74-year-old indicated to principal shareholder Dermot Desmond that he wanted to take the job during talks yesterday. Robbie Keane had also held talks, but there had been some opposition from some of the fans, and we'll bring you plenty more on that throughout the evening here on Sky Sports News. Significant.
There we go. That's it. That is the breaking news this evening. Martin O'Neill is. Thank God. Right, can we just sit back and relax now? And can we just enjoy the fact that we were double champions against the odds, completely against the odds. It's all about players now, isn't it? It's all about who does Martin O'Neill retain as backroom staff? Who does Martin O'Neill bring in? And then there's the issue of players. There is the big issue of players. What players will Martin O'Neill keep? Because Martin O'Neill upset quite a few people at Celtic. Michelangelo Balak-Wisher. Yeah, Del Boy, you got it in one there. There are a lot of players at Celtic that did not like the fact that Martin O'Neill was manager. Martin O'Neill told quite a few players that they were not good enough for his team. Where does it leave the likes of Michelangelo Balak-Wisher? I don't know, where does it leave? When you look at the squad, as we know, has been completely decimated this summer. Rio Hatate will be one player that will want to leave the club after Martin O'Neill, the not so public fallout that they had, but the fact that, Martin O'Neill just dropped him altogether. The team as it stands, we need to find a goalkeeper. We have 8 players, is at the World Cup. People like Alistair Johnson, Austin Trusty. We need to bring in replacements for Julian Araujo, Marcelo Saracchi. Marcelo Saracchi's got a massive decision to make now. Does he come to Celtic with knowing the fact that Martin O'Neill prefers Kieran Tierney? Is Marcelo Saracchi willing to come to Celtic and be a bit part player under Kieran Tierney? Julian Araujo would be a fantastic addition. We have just let Stephen Welsh leave the club. We're going to have to bring in another defender for him. And then there's the Tony Ralston situation. Tony Ralston's at the point of his Celtic career, having come through the youth system. He's now at an age where he would want to play some football going into the latter ends of his football career. And it's interesting, I was watching an interview this afternoon talking about the money that footballers earn. And they've got a 10-year period to make as much money as they can. Tony Ralston's at that period where he's coming to the wrong end of his football career. You're only a decent footballer until you're around about 35. You're only on good wages until you're 32, 33, 34 at most. Tony Ralston could go and sort out his family for life if he makes the next move away from Celtic, that is for sure. And then when you look at the midfield, will the manager want to bring back Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain? Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain was brought in by Martin O'Neill as a kind of panic in the midfield. Paulo Bernardo didn't really get any game time the second time round under Martin O'Neill. He did the first time. Him and Rio Hatate could be out the door. Arne Engels could be out the door. It will mean that Benjamin Nygren will stay at the club. Celtic and Martin O'Neill will not allow Benji Nygren to be sold in this transfer window. That means that you're going to have a midfield of Benji Nygren, Callum McGregor and Luke McCowan and maybe Oxlade-Chamberlain. The other 3 could possibly leave. And then the forward position, Martin O'Neill will know that Jota is out until November at the earliest. Junior Adamu, he was brought in on loan. He was thanked by Martin O'Neill. Michelangelo Balak-Wisher, 5 million down the drain, that one. Tom the Czech, he was brought in by Martin O'Neill, but Celtic told them that they would not go ahead with the €7 million buyout clause. Yang got an extended contract. Yang will love the fact that Martin O'Neill is retained as manager. Kelechi Iheanacho, he's up against it now. He really is up against it because Martin O'Neill wasn't too convinced that Kelechi Iheanacho was in fighting fit condition for his age. Callum Osmond, he'll be loving the fact that Martin O'Neill's staying on as manager. He knows that he will get a big shout in terms of playing time next season. And then there's Tenecti. Is Tenecti the answer on the wing? My suggestion is no. Joel Mavica's left the club, and James Forrest signed a 1-year extension to finish out his playing career at Celtic, and rightly so. And then there's the Dyson Maeda situation. Can Martin O'Neill convince Dyson Maeda to stay at the club? The fact that Martin O'Neill was manager. Martin O'Neill told quite a few players. There we go, it's all fine. So anyway, that is your breaking news this afternoon. We're on 26,936. I wanted to get to 27,000 before Celtic announced the next manager. I feel as if you've let me down. Joking. It's Friday. Anyway, that is the big news. Do you think you'll let Rocky go? I think there'll be a lot of players at Celtic. When you look at the players that were out on loan, Stephen Welsh was out on loan. He was allowed to leave the club. Johnny Kenny wasn't. Martin O'Neill allowed Johnny Kenny to go out on loan. Does he rate Johnny Kenny? That's the big question. Does he rate Johnny Kenny? Shin Yamada, he was sent out on loan under Martin O'Neill. Lewis Palmer, he has been sold. Martin O'Neill will not be able to call on Lewis Palmer. Odemom, Hatei Onamura. I'll tell you one thing. Martin O'Neill will be sitting going, where's my coffee? Or maybe he drinks pineapple juice. Right, let's jump into some of the comments this afternoon before, hopefully, Celtic do come out and break the news. Nope. It makes you wonder what's going on at Celtic. Celtic want to see themselves as a world-class operator, but they've allowed the information to be broken out from mainstream media. They have employed a top guy from Apple in London so that we could put all... And they tell us, the club tells us, don't listen to external sources. Listen to what we tell you. Wait till we tell you the information. And then you've got Sky and everybody else and us telling you that Martin O'Neill is the manager. Shin Yamada. Michelle was dying to get Shin Yamada's song out there. MON the Hoops. Yep. Let's hope that Martin will get the funds he deserves to build the team and the fans. Now, if we do not sell Dyson Maeda, say we sell... I mean, you're going to get 10 to 15 million for Dyson Maeda. Would that be a big hit? Or would it be the money that we're going to get in from other players? Will that suffice? Celtic social media team are terrible. Yes, they will announce it at 6, 15 minutes. The barbecue will be burnt out. But then give Maeda 50 grand a week and a 3-year deal. The thing is 50 grand is nothing in terms of football. He would get a lot more than that if he went down to England. Kieran Tierney was on 120 grand a week. 120 grand a week, Kieran Tierney. That's obscene. And that makes you think that, you know, why would Dyson Maeda want to stay at Celtic if he's going to get offered a contract of, he's even offered 80 grand a week? It's a very, very difficult one. He had a house in Edinburgh when he managed us all these years ago. Avoided the Goldfish Bowl in Glasgow. Used a hotel outside Livingston to meet up with the players prior to games. Well, there you go, Stevie. Well, Dyson Maeda say that'll be the speculation next. But I don't think so. I don't think so. Correct decision. 100% proven winner. Knows we need physicality, skilled players for the new season. Super chat from the Dr. Pepper Machine. One club for all. Yeah, we are now, aren't we? Engels will be sold. Yes, I think Engels will be sold. Maida will leave. Arnie Engels will be gone, definitely. Maida wants to leave. Martin is staying on. Will not change that. Like so. Sell Tenecte immediately. I think Engels will be our big departure this transfer window. Dyson won't be 5 to 520. There we go. The wee man's done his job. He's off with his best wishes. Be the icing on the cake to be able to keep either Maida or Engels now as well. I don't think that Arnie Engels will stay. He's just changed agent, hasn't he? So that tells us one thing, and it generally means that's happened with Kyogo Furiashi. Remember when Kyogo Furiashi was sold, he changed his agent just before that. Happy Martin O'Neill is getting another year. Hopefully he will settle the team with the board and the fans. So happy it's not Robbie Keane. So happy it's not Keane. 50 grand a week, says Dob. That's nothing, is it? It's nothing in the terms of football. Maida's a proud man and wants to prove himself at a higher level, sadly. 352 next season, says Green Machine. I hope so. Martin O'Neill loves 352, and I just think it'll be fantastic for Celtic. Anyway, that is me done and dusted for this evening. It's over to you, Celtic, to get it officially announced, as they say. And typical Celtic style, we're still waiting. How long have we been on? We've been on air for... I need to go into this one, don't I? I've been on for 31 minutes and still nothing. Nada. Nipwa. It's like waiting on the voting results for, dare I say it, that Euro stuff. Anyway, I'm waiting to get the barbecue. Have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are. It is fantastic news this evening that Martin O'Neill has, against the odds, as far as I was concerned, stayed on as manager for at least one more year. But some Celtic fans will not be happy because they will see that as just passing the buck down the line by the board. There are a lot of decisions that need to be made by the board over the next couple of weeks. What players to bring in? Will there be any changes at boardroom level? All attention from the fans now turns to the Celtic board, turns to the hierarchy. All eyes are on them. There's no eyes on anyone else bar the board. Can they step up to the mark and answer the questions that Celtic want answered? We'll find out. I shall catch you in the morning. On that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world. Will I come on later? Nah, will I? Come out and enjoy the barbecue. Laters.